a slight update. As you can see, there is something different with my garden. I got some of my tomato cages from where I did my garden last year, and I took a bonus video I will show you at the end of this, where I show you what happens to a garden after you don't do anything to it. So the end of the season last year was the last time I touched that garden, other than dumping some compost into it to empty the container out. But onto these zucchini flowers. I'm trying to get a good angle now. Maybe if I slip my hand in this way. Oh boy, I do apologize for this. So, as you can see, the female zucchini flowers are starting to get larger, and there is a whole bunch of flowers. Now, the way that I put this cage in, I put it to open up the center a little bit so that I can peek in better. And as it grows up, it has something to send its tentacles on and hold on to. So, there's not much of a difference here that I have to show you. Nor is there much of a difference here, other than the soil's finally starting to dry out a bit because it was almost 100 degrees today. Yeah. So I hilled up the dill to give it a little bit more support. I don't think that I planted it deep enough. I have not gotten the compost yet. I forgot to grab bags to bring that when I got my tomato cages. But I also figured I would try this instead of a trellis. Now, the soil in here is not as dry as the herb garden. But this is what I'm talking about, tendrils. These little grabber things. They will grab on to whatever they could reach to help support the vine. So I'm hoping that they will latch on either over here or on here and bring it up. That is my theory. I don't know how well that's going to work, but... And down there, we've got new growth and what looks like the beginnings of cucumber flowers. And over here is the little guy, who's not doing much at this point. Just spitting out new growth. And the story is the same with the beans. They're just spitting out new growth left and right. They're actually getting pretty tall. But they're supposed to be a bush bean, so I didn't grab anything for them. Now, on to the peppers. I've been coming out here several times a day, and I've been going into these little new leaves. See that little white speck, if I can focus? Those are aphid eggs. And I've been finding them in every new leaf, and I have been taking them out. And it's the curly ones, and they're not that bad at the moment. There's an aphid. That is an aphid. They normally hang out on the bottom side of your leaves, but I have been finding them on the top side this year. And in the curlies, and only on my peppers. So, because of the amount of kids that run through here and is a public courtyard, I am not doing anything to kill them. I'm just coming out several times a day and inspecting the new growth where I've been finding them. Pretty much in these little new leaves by the flowers. I've been wiping them out. I do have more flowers opening on the jalapeno. I have 3 fully opened flowers and 1 that's closing, and a whole bunch of new peppers because I've been pollinating them as they open up. So even though the jalapeno is the one I've been finding the most aphids on, it's still producing. But if you look really closely, if I can focus, there is damage already from the aphids on a lot of these. Like right in there, that blacking and browning. So yes, as I'm doing this video, I'm just giving them a once over. But I figure if I get the babies out and I smush them in my finger, I'm not putting poisons out that could hurt anybody, and I'm saving my plant. And if I knew if I relocated them they wouldn't come back, I would definitely be doing that, but I know they're gonna come back. Onto my tomato. I do not recommend putting a tomato cage on a tomato that's already grown. This was a pain, and I'm lucky I didn't break anything in the process. I still need to spread it out a little bit more because the taller cage is thinner than the cage I had on. But as you can see, in order to keep it in the cage, I had to squish it in. Otherwise I would have been cutting off a lot of the top half to fit it. So I've been pulling the branches through, and the tomatoes will curl their leaves to hold on to things. So I'm very lucky I did not break anything off. But I do have a ton of tomato flowers. And this doesn't want to focus because of how enthralled they are. So these guys just all opened up today. Got 3 here. This one was open yesterday and the day before, and I've been flicking them around and pollinating them, so hopefully I get a little tomato on that guy. But I've got more over there. I've got a whole bunch in here behind these leaves that you can't see. And they're hiding all over the place. So pretty soon we'll be having tomatoes to show you. And yeah. Seeds I planted last year in the garden I had, well, they started to come up actually. And they are tall and all over the place. There's more down here. But this is what happens to an unkept garden. You got more over there. Got a whole bunch here. And my berries that I was growing in the bucket are starting to fruit, and it's doing fantabulous. So I might be taking that home. I also might be taking my strawberry planter home, but this is my compost pile. Yay, compost!